I stumbled across a dusty journal in an old attic, its pages whispering of a woman who sang a song in 1857, a song with lyrics that defy time itself. How could she know words that shouldn't exist for decades? My heart raced as I dug deeper, uncovering a mystery that challenges everything we believe about history. Stick with me, because what I found will leave you questioning reality. I was rummaging through my grandmother's attic last summer, surrounded by forgotten relics of the past. A wooden chest caught my eye, its hinges rusted but intact. Inside, I found a leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and fragile. The faint scent of aged paper filled the air as I opened it. The handwriting was elegant, dated 1857, and belonged to a woman named Eliza. Her entry spoke of daily life, but one stood out, a song she sang. The lyrics, scribbled in delicate ink, sent a chill down my spine. They described a world of machines, lights, and voices carried through the air. How could she know such things? In 1857, electricity was barely understood, and radio was decades away. I read the words again, my hands trembling. Each line felt like a puzzle piece from the future. Was Eliza a visionary, or something else entirely? I needed to know more about her song. This journal was no ordinary find. It was a gateway to a mystery. Eliza's journal described her small village in England, a place of cobblestone paths and candlelit nights. She was a seamstress, quiet and unassuming, but her voice was her gift. Villagers gathered to hear her sing at the local church, her melodies haunting and pure. The journal entry about the song was dated June 12, 1857. She wrote of a melody that came to her in a dream, vivid and strange. The lyrics spoke of iron birds soaring across the sky. Airplanes wouldn't exist for another 50 years. She described glowing screens that showed faces from afar. Television was a distant dream in her time. I sat there, journal in hand, my mind racing with questions. How could a seamstress in 1857 know these things? Was it coincidence, or something more? Her words felt like a message, meant for someone to find. That someone, it seemed, was me. I couldn't stop thinking about Eliza's song. The journal mentioned how the villagers were entranced by her voice, but some grew uneasy. They whispered that her lyrics were unnatural, almost forbidden. One entry described a night when she sang at a festival, her voice carrying over the crowd. The song's words, about cities of glass and voices and wires, stunned them into silence. A local pastor accused her of witchcraft, claiming she spoke of things no mortal should know. Eliza wrote of her fear, but also her defiance. She felt the song was a gift, not a curse. I imagined her standing there, her voice unwavering despite the glares. Reading her words, I felt a connection to her courage. But the mystery deepened. Where did the song come from? Was it a vision, a memory, or something impossible? I needed to trace its origins. The journal revealed Eliza's growing obsession with the song. She wrote of sleepless nights, the melody looping in her mind. She described dreams of a world unlike her own, filled with towering structures and endless lights. These visions felt so real, she said, like memories of a place she'd never been. I paused, my breath catching as I read her descriptions. Skyscrapers, neon signs, telephones. None of these existed in 1857, yet her words painted them vividly, as if she'd seen them herself. I started to wonder if Eliza was somehow connected to the future. Was she channeling something beyond her time? The thought was wild, but I couldn't shake it. Her journal was more than a record. It was a clue to something bigger. I decided to research her village, hoping to find answers. I visited the library, searching for records of Eliza's village. Old archives mentioned a seamstress named Eliza Harrow, born in 1832. She was known for her singing, just as the journal described. But there was something else. A brief note about a scandal in 1857. Villagers claimed her songs were from the devil. Too strange for their simple world. The records were vague, but they hinted at her disappearance soon after. My heart sank. Did her song lead to her downfall? I pictured her alone, misunderstood, her voice silenced by fear. The journal didn't mention her fate, but it held more clues. One entry described a stranger who visited the village, listening to her sing. He left her a small, mysterious object. What was it and why did it matter? I had to keep digging. Back at home, I pored over the journal again. The stranger intrigued me. Eliza described him as a man with eyes that saw too much. He appeared one evening after her performance, his clothes oddly out of place. She wrote that he gave her a pendant, cold and metallic, unlike anything she'd seen. The pendant, she said, pulsed faintly when she sang the song. My mind raced. Could it be technology? Something from another time? In 1857, such a thing would seem like magic. Eliza hid the pendant, fearing it would fuel the villagers' suspicions. I wished I could see it, hold it, understand its purpose. Her words hinted at a connection between the pendant and the song. Was the stranger guiding her, or using her? The mystery was growing stranger by the page. Eliza's entries grew more frantic as the summer of 1857 passed. She wrote of dreams that felt like glimpses of another life. She saw herself in a bustling city, surrounded by machines that hummed with life. The song, she said, was her anchor to these visions. Each time she sang, the images grew clearer. I could almost hear her voice through the pages, desperate yet beautiful. But the villagers' fear was mounting. They stopped attending her performances, leaving the church empty. Eliza felt isolated, but she couldn't stop singing. The pendant, she wrote, seemed to glow brighter with each note. I wondered if it was amplifying her visions, or something more sinister. The journal was pulling me into her world, and I couldn't look away. I needed to know what happened to her. One entry stood out, dated August 3rd, 1857. Eliza wrote of a night when the stranger returned. He spoke in riddles, saying her song was a key to something greater. She didn't understand, but his words filled her with both fear and purpose. He urged her to keep singing, no matter the cost. The pendant, he said, would protect her. Protect her from what? The journal didn't say. I imagined Eliza clutching the pendant, torn between trust and doubt. The stranger's visits were too precise, too deliberate. Was he from the future, planting ideas in her mind? The thought sent shivers through me. I was starting to believe Eliza's song was more than music. It was a signal, a message across time. But to whom and why? The journal described Eliza's final performance in the village. It was a moonlit night, the air thick with tension. She stood in the church, her voice echoing through the empty pews. The song poured out, its lyrics painting a world of wonders and dangers. A few villagers lingered outside, listening in secret. The pendant glowed brightly, she wrote, almost burning her skin. Then, a strange hum filled the air, like nothing she'd ever heard. The journal entry ended abruptly, mid-sentence. My heart pounded. What happened next? Did the pendant do something to her? Was the stranger there, watching? The pages offered no answers, only silence. I felt a mix of frustration and awe. Eliza's story was incomplete, but it was far from over. I couldn't let go of Eliza's mystery. The journal was a treasure, but it left too many questions. Who was the stranger, and what was the pendant? Why did her song describe a future she couldn't know? I started to wonder if the pendant was some kind of device, maybe even extraterrestrial. The idea was crazy, but it fit the strangeness of her story. I imagined Eliza as a conduit, her voice carrying messages from another time or place. The villagers' fear made sense. They sensed something unnatural. But I wasn't afraid. I was captivated. Her song was a thread connecting past and present, and I was determined to follow it. The journal was my map, and I was ready for the next step. I decided to search for more clues about Eliza's pendant. The journal described it as a small, silver object with intricate carvings. She sketched it in the margins, a circle with symbols I didn't recognize. I scanned the sketch and ran it through online databases, hoping for a match. Nothing came up, but the symbols looked oddly modern, almost like circuitry. Could it be a piece of technology disguised as jewelry? In 1857, no one would suspect such a thing. I imagined a stranger slipping it to Eliza, knowing its power. Her song, paired with the pendant, seemed to unlock something. But what? I felt like I was chasing shadows, yet the journal urged me forward. Eliza's story deserved to be told. I visited a local historian, hoping she could shed light on Eliza's village. She knew of the scandal surrounding a singer in 1857. The villagers' fear wasn't just superstition, she said. It was a reaction to change. Eliza's songs challenged their understanding of the world. The historian mentioned rumors of a cursed object tied to her disappearance. My pulse quickened. Was it the pendant? She had no records of it, but she suggested checking church archives. I thanked her and left, my mind buzzing with possibilities. Eliza's song wasn't just music. It was a disruption, a glimpse of something beyond her time. I needed to find that pendant, or at least understand its purpose. The church archives were my next stop, a dusty room filled with crumbling ledgers. I found a record of Eliza's performances, noted for their beauty and strangeness. One entry mentioned a visitor who attended her final show. He wasn't named, but the description matched the stranger in her journal. My hands shook as I read further. The church was abandoned after that night, deemed unholy. No one knew why. I pictured Eliza singing, the pendant glowing, the hum she described filling the air. Was it a portal, a signal, or something else? The archives offered no answers, but they confirmed the stranger's presence. He was key to this mystery, and I was determined to uncover his identity. Back at the journal, I found a clue I'd overlooked. Eliza wrote of a melody that felt like home. It wasn't just the lyrics. The tune itself was alien to her world. She described it as complex, layered, unlike the simple hymns of her time. I wondered if the pendant somehow transmitted the song to her. The idea was wild, but I couldn't dismiss it. I tried humming the lyrics as she wrote them, piecing together a tune. It felt haunting, almost futuristic. I recorded myself and played it back, chills running through me. Was this what the villagers heard? The song was beautiful, but it carried an eerie weight. I felt closer to Eliza, as if her voice was reaching across time. The stranger's role gnawed at me. Why did he choose Eliza? Was it her voice, her spirit, or something else? The journal hinted he wasn't from her time. His clothes, his speech, even the pendant, all felt out of place. I started researching time travel theories, half expecting to find nothing. But some physicists suggest time could be manipulated, objects sent across eras. Could the pendant be a device, and Eliza an unwitting receiver? Her song might have been a test, a way to send information through time. The thought was dizzying, but it explained her visions. I imagined her caught in a larger plan, her voice a beacon. I needed to know if the pendant still existed. I contacted a friend who studies ancient artifacts, sending her Eliza's sketch. She was skeptical but intrigued. The symbols resembled no known language, she said, but they had a mathematical precision. She suggested they might be a code, not just decoration. My mind spun. Could the pendant be a key to decoding Eliza's song? I asked her to keep searching, but I knew the answer lay in the journal. Eliza wrote of hiding the pendant before her final performance. She didn't say where, only that it was safe from prying eyes. I pictured her tucking it away, protecting her secret. If I could find it, I might unlock the truth. But where would a seamstress hide something so precious? The journal's final pages were the most cryptic. Eliza wrote of a pull she felt when she sang, like the song was drawing her somewhere. The pendant, she said, seemed to respond, its glow syncing with her voice. She described a vision of a vast, endless void, yet it felt alive. I shivered, imagining her standing in that church, singing to something beyond comprehension. Was the pendant connecting her to another dimension? The idea was insane, but her words were too vivid to dismiss. The stranger's warning about protection stuck with me. Protection from what? The void, the villagers, or something else? I was determined to find out, no matter how strange it got. I started mapping Eliza's village, using old records to pinpoint her home and the church. If the pendant was hidden, it might still be there. The village was now a small town, but some buildings remained. I planned a trip, journal in hand, hoping to walk where Eliza walked. I imagined her singing, the pendant glowing, the air humming with energy. What happened that final night? Did she vanish, as the record suggested? The journal's abrupt end haunted me. I felt like Eliza was guiding me, her words a trail of breadcrumbs. The pendant was the key, and I was closer to finding it. But I couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. The trip to the village was surreal. The church still stood, its stone walls weathered but intact. I stood where Eliza must have sung, feeling the weight of history. The air was quiet, but I imagined her voice filling the space. I searched for clues, checking the pews, the altar, even the floorboards. Nothing. The journal mentioned a safe place, but it was too vague. I sat in the church, frustrated, rereading her words. Then it hit me. She wrote of a loose stone near the altar. My heart raced as I searched and found it. A small, movable slab. Beneath it was nothing but dirt. Disappointment stung, but I wasn't giving up. Eliza's secret was still out there. Back home, I couldn't stop thinking about the church. The loose stone felt like a clue, even if it was empty. Eliza was careful. She wouldn't hide the pendant in an obvious place. I reread her entries, looking for hints. One line stood out. The song lives where the heart rests. Was it a metaphor or a literal clue? The church was her heart's sanctuary, where she felt safest. I wondered if the pendant was hidden in a place tied to her singing. Maybe a wall, a rafter, or even a nearby tree. The journal was running out of pages, and I was running out of time. But Eliza's voice, her mystery, kept me going. I had to find the truth. I returned to the village, determined to search again. This time, I brought tools to explore the church more thoroughly. The loose stone by the altar nagged at me. I pried it up again, digging deeper into the dirt. My fingers brushed something hard, a small, metal box. My heart stopped. Inside was a silver pendant, just as Eliza described. Its carvings faint but unmistakable. It felt cold, heavier than it looked. I held it up, half expecting it to glow. It didn't, but its presence was electric. Was this the key to her song? I clutched it, feeling a connection to Eliza across centuries. The pendant was real, but its purpose was still a mystery. I needed to test it, somehow. At home, I examined the pendant under a magnifying glass. The symbols were intricate, almost alive in their precision. I tried singing Eliza's lyrics, hoping for a reaction. Nothing happened, but I felt foolish for expecting it. The journal mentioned the pendant glowing during her song, so I recorded myself singing again, holding the pendant close. The air felt charged, but maybe it was my imagination. I sent photos of the pendant to my artifact expert friend. She was stunned, saying the symbols resembled no known culture. She suggested they might be a form of quantum code. Quantum code? In 1857? The idea was absurd, but it fit the strangeness of Eliza's story. I dove into research on quantum technology, though it was way over my head. Some theories suggest information can be sent across time using quantum entanglement. Could the pendant be a device for that? Eliza's song might have been a signal, amplified by the pendant. The stranger, I realized, could have been a time traveler, planting the pendant to transmit knowledge. But why her? Her voice, her dreams, her courage. Maybe she was the perfect vessel. I imagined her singing, unknowingly sending a message to the future. The pendant was the key, but I didn't know how to unlock it. I needed help, but who could I trust with this? I contacted a physicist friend, showing him the pendant and Eliza's journal. He laughed at first, thinking it was a prank, but the pendant symbols changed his mind. He said they resembled patterns used in experimental quantum devices. He agreed to test it, but warned me to keep it secret. We ran experiments, playing Eliza's song near the pendant. At first, nothing happened. Then, during one test, the pendant vibrated faintly, and my recorder picked up a strange hum. My friend's face went pale. The hum matched no known frequency. Was it activating? I felt a mix of fear and excitement. Eliza's mystery was coming alive, right in front of me. The physicist suggested the pendant might be a receiver, tuned to Eliza's voice. Her song, he said, could have carried data across time. The lyrics, about iron birds, glowing screens, cities of glass, might be encoded information. But who sent it and why? I thought of the stranger again. Was he a guardian of this knowledge, or something else? The journal mentioned his eyes that saw too much. Maybe he wasn't human. The thought was chilling, but I couldn't rule it out. The pendant's hum grew stronger when I sang Eliza's lyrics exactly as written. It was responding, but to what? I was on the edge of something huge, and I couldn't turn back. I spent nights studying the journal, piecing together Eliza's final days. She wrote a feeling called by the song, as if it wasn't hers. The pendant, she said, made her feel connected to something vast. I started to believe it was a bridge between times, or even worlds. The stranger's role was clearer now. He chose Eliza to carry this message. But what happened to her? The journal's abrupt end suggested she vanished during that final performance. Did the pendant take her somewhere? I imagined her stepping into that void she described, her voice echoing across centuries. The pendant in my hand felt like a responsibility, a link to her fate. I decided to recreate Eliza's final performance. I returned to the church, pendant in hand, and stood where she stood. I sang her song, my voice shaky but determined. The pendant grew warm, its symbols faintly glowing. The air hummed, just as she described. My heart pounded. I was touching something beyond my understanding. The hum grew louder, and for a moment, I saw a flicker, like a shadow moving in the air. Was Eliza? The vision faded, but the pendant's glow lingered. I felt her presence, her courage, guiding me. The song was more than lyrics, it was a doorway. But to where and how could I follow? The physicist analyzed the hum from my recording. It contained patterns, he said, like a signal carrying data. He couldn't decode it, but he believed it was deliberate. The pendant was no ordinary object, it was technology, far beyond 1857. I wondered if Eliza's song had reached someone, or something, in another time. The stranger's plan, whatever it was, worked. But at what cost to her? The journal's silence about her fate haunted me. Did she choose to leave, or was she taken? I clutched the pendant, feeling its weight. It was my only link to her, and I wasn't letting go. Her story deserved an ending, and I would find it. I shared Eliza's story online, hoping others might have clues. Responses flooded in, some skeptical, some intrigued. One person claimed their ancestor knew Eliza, mentioning a family legend about a singer who sang the future. They had no proof, but it felt like validation. The pendant, the song, the stranger, all pointed to something bigger than one woman's life. I started to see Eliza as a hero, her voice a spark that lit up time itself. But the mystery wasn't solved. The pendant's hum, the stranger's motives, Eliza's fate, they lingered like notes in her song. I was closer, but not there yet. Her story was now my story, and I wouldn't stop. I'm still searching for answers, and I need your help. Eliza's song is a puzzle, and the pendant is its key. I believe there's more to find. Maybe more journals, more pendants, more voices like hers. If you've heard stories of strange songs or objects that don't belong, share them with me. Together, we can uncover what Eliza started. Her voice reached across centuries, and it's up to us to listen. Subscribe to my channel to follow this journey. Let's solve this mystery together, one note at a time. Eliza's song deserves to be heard, and its secrets deserve to be known. Will you join me? If this mystery has you hooked, hit that subscribe button and join me as we unravel Eliza's story. Share any clues or stories you have in the comments. We're in this together. Let's keep her song alive.